getting back up on my feet.
Hello, today I'm going to talk to you about hand stripping. Firstly, what is hand stripping? Hand stripping is pulling out the hair either with your hands or with the aid of one of these tools. And what you're doing is you're pulling the hair from the follicle, which then stimulates the hair growth of brand new hair in its natural form. Inside that follicle is the root. So you should ideally see the root of the hair. If you don't see that root, that means you're breaking it. So I'm just going to go and show you now some of the tools that we use for hand stripping. So here we've got some stripping knives, a carding knife, some stones. This is a comb, chalk, and some finger condoms. So for the stripping knives, they do come in various types, and there's an abundance of stripping knives that you can use. And they're all for different types of different parts of the body. So for instance, here I do have a detailing stripping knife, which is a Mars detailing stripping knife. What I will do is I'm just going to show you a picture of some of the stripping knives and the types that they come in. So here's a collection of Mars knives. Firstly, the extra fine. That's for the head, ears and detailed work. Next is the fine, and that's for the head, neck and general finishing. Then is the medium, and that's for the body work, for stripping. And then is the coarse knife, and that's for the body also, for large breeds and for extra coarse hair and hair that's difficult to strip. So I'm just going to move on now to the stones. So the stripping stones, there's again a variation of stripping stones and the reason you use them. Here's just one I'm going to show you here. This here has got two different sides to it. I like to use this side here. And the reason is just because it's just better for my finger to sit in, this side. Now, when you're actually using a tool, it's actually a forefinger that you're replacing and you're still using your thumb. So every single tool that you use, and then stripping knives as well, it's your forefinger, not your thumb. It's your forefinger that you're replacing all of the time. Even the stone, it's your forefinger that you're replacing. Okay. So these are good stones here. This is a Showtech stone. These have got covers on and they can come with or without covers, some of these stones can. This is a coarser stone and I use this for a body. This here is a greyhound stone and these come in different sizes as well and textures. This is a bit more of a rubbery one, and this one I use for more detailed work for the faces and things. This is one of my favourite stones. This, like I showed you before, it's got two sides. I prefer this side, it's just more friendly for me. It's got a flat side. This one I use more for the body. The smaller version of it is more for the detailed work on the face. Here we've got bigger stripping stones and they've not got the handles on. This one is a little bit more brittle, and it really gets stuck into the hair. Here, this stone I use more for afterwards, for the finishing work really, or on the belly. And like say if I'm doing, it's like sensitive areas really, I'll just go to a border terrier for an example. On the sensitive area, and it's a bit more difficult to get to areas. This is brilliant to get to, and it's great for the hands as well. So here, now this is called a carding knife. So what the carding knife is very different than the stripping knife. So the stripping knife is taking out the dead hair. This is taking out any of the undercoat. So any of the loose undercoat, that's what it's doing. So it's really good to use after you've done the stripping, so it gets rid of any of the dead remaining undercoat that's there. And it's nice, it gives it a nice finish. Okay. Here, these are called finger condoms. Now I use these all of the time, even when I've got my knife in my hand, and the stone in my hand, I always have these on. So you'll have one on your forefinger and you'll have one on your thumb. These are Showtech, I think. They're sure they're Showtech. You can get other ones as well. You can get like this like a see-through ones as well. They're a little bit smaller and thinner, but I prefer these because they've got a bit more grip. And I also use these with my chalk. Everything I do, I always use chalk. It just helps much better grip. So actually, this next thing I'm going to show you here. This is called a Spratz comb. It's a Spratz 69, and you can also get this from petcetera. However, you have to do this bit yourself. I think you can actually buy them with the banded thing, but the Spratz comb is from petcetera, 69, and it's called a banded comb. You band it yourself. You can have a look on YouTube how to do that. And what this does is it's better for the silky coat breeds. And then you can get some vet wrap as well. I'll just show you one. Excuse, it's a little bit of a mess. The vet wrap on the end. And that's just a better fit for your hand. Now this is, like I say, it's great for the silky coated breeds. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a picture of a silky coated breed. And also, while I'm doing that actually, I'll just show you a couple of pictures. I'll show you a picture of a silky coated breed with the comb. And I'll show you a couple of pictures with the knives as well. Here is a show cocker. It's his very first hand strip. For this, I use the banded comb and my fingers. Brings out the nice, vibrant colours and the smooth texture. Next is the dash hound. For this, I use stripping stones and knives. You can see what a lovely finish that gives. And then the Airedale Terrier, just a picture of his back, a lovely finish and a bright, vibrant colour. Okay, thank you very much. I do hope that helped you. I am now going to move on, and I'm going to groom today a crossbreed, and it's a border jack. So I'll see you later. So this is Shelby, the border jack. I'll just show you a hair here. So show you. You're probably thinking, what are you going to strip? But if you look here, just lift a hair here, and you can see all of this here is the hair that needs to be taken off. Now she's not really got a big amount. She's what we have is before they get stripped, what is called a blown coat. Now her coat is blown, but it's not a massively blown coat. So because she's a cross between a border terrier and a Jack Russell, she doesn't have a massive amount to take off. So you do have to be careful not to bald her. So when you do strip, I will show you. Okay. Really with her, I'm just going to use my fingers and thumbs, but the ears I would probably use a tool. So, yes, my darling girl. Thank you, sweetheart. So I have done a little bit here, but I'll just show you. Put a little bit of chalk on. We've got some chalk on it there. I'm going to use the brush. So I'm going to do this just slightly, just so I can see the hair that I'm going to be lifting. I'm going to be taking away. Now this doesn't hurt her because it's dead hair. So you have to remember this is dead hair, so it's not going to hurt her. And what you need to do when I am stripping her, you have to be careful you don't go too far down, because you can then go into the downy fur, the coat that you don't want to take out. And you don't want to go too much up to the top, because then what you're going to do is you're going to break the coat, and that's no good, because then you're not taking out the actual hair that you need to take out. So it is a very the technique, you have to really get this right. So it's kind of like, and you have to pull it into the direction that the coat is growing. So I'm just going to do a little bit here. There we go. And she's a good girl. She's been to me once before, and she's a very good girl. Yes. Good girl. Now I have to stretch the skin as well, just to make sure we're not hurting her. Just doing this a little bit slower for you to see. Good girl. There's my girl. I know. Yes. Yeah. And we can see, can't we? Yeah, because she's a good girl. We've got a little tail wag going on. We need to keep that going, don't we? Yes, we do. Now, hand stripping can take quite a long time to do. So the dogs probably do need a rest in between, depending, you know, how much coat they've got and how blown it is. You know, and how old the dog is also. Older dogs, they're going to need a rest, and your puppies also, they're going to probably need a rest in between, depending on how long as well and how quick you are as well at doing this, and how good you are at your technique. Good girl. Let me just show you this tool. So I'm just going to hold it with my finger and thumb. That's my girl. Good girl. And again, I'm still holding the hair in the same position that I'd have to, but you're only taking a little bit at a time. You don't want to take a big chunk of hair like this. Take out a big chunk of hair, that's going to hurt the dog. I'm only taking a little bit at a time. So it is a long-winded process. Good girl. Good girl. She's looking too nice. Yes. She's looking so nice. I know. Thank you. We can get kissing later. Come on. Good girl. So, can you see there that difference? So I'm going to carry on now. I'm going to carry on now and I'll come back to you when she's done so you can see her coat finished. So I've just come back on to show you that we're going to do some stripping on her chest. Now the chest is one of the sensitive areas, so we're going to use the fine stripping knife and I'm going to use the stripping stone also, maybe go down towards the legs as well. So on at the chest, majority of dogs have got like a little cow's lick, little crest thing here. So what I would probably do here is maybe just use my finger and thumb and be careful. So we'll see how we go with her. Okay, so come on sweetie, let's take this off and let's see how we go here. Pop some more chalk on there. Good girl. That's a lot of chalk. Okay, so we're going to use this stripping stone and stretch the skin in the same technique. Okay. See that hair? Can you see that hair there coming out? Good girl. Good girl. So just bit by bit, the same technique, but just using the stone. It's easier to grip the hair. Like on these sensitive areas, sometimes that's just necessary. Instead of just the finger and thumb. Because you can't grip it quite as well. You really have to give their skin a good stretch. So I'm just going to go to the knife here a minute. There's my girl. So with the knife you really have to be extra careful not to break the coat. Not to cut the coat. Again, direction of the hair. Now in the throat, the hair goes in lots of different directions. Have to maneuver yourself, and the reason for that is we want the hair to lie flat and to grow back in the right direction, and also it can be painful for the dog if you pull that hair in the wrong direction. Little bit by little bit. See that? I'm getting that hair out there. Okay. And I'm just checking as well. It's nice to actually see if you make sure you've got some root. If you can see the root at the hair, then you know that you're not breaking the hair. There's my girl. Sometimes you can't see the root, but you know that you're not breaking the hair anyway because you can see that. Okay, so I'm just going to go here, see how the hair turns around here. I don't know if you can see that hair there, how the hair just turns around there. That's that little tiny bit more sensitive, isn't it, sweetie? So I'm going to stretch that there, and I'm just going to manoeuvre myself with the finger and thumb technique here. And pull in the direction. There we go. No, good girl, she's been so good. Yeah. You need to lift your head up, sweetheart. Yes. Thank you, my darling girl. Thank you. That was a bit in the mouth nearly, that was. Yes. There we go. Okay, so I will come back to you again later. So what I'm just going to do now is just to find the touches, I'm just going to go over with a carding knife just to finish off. Okay, let's just go over now with a carding knife. Just slightly, just over, just those stray hairs, if there's any. So you see that just takes off that little fine bits of stray hairs to give her a nice finish. What you do have to remember is with hand stripping, you're never going to get an even finish because it's not like a blade, you're going to be doing it with all the same length. Hand stripping it's just the natural cut, how it naturally pulls. There we go. And those fine little dead hairs that are left. And it gives it a nice finish, doesn't it, sweetie? Yeah. So this is just called carding the coat. Just have to be careful, just doing it gently over the coat, and you're not doing it hard and you're not scratching the skin. There we go again. See, that's taking those little hairs off.
Now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet.